Welcome to the TowerCast podcast, the towering podcast for the towering filmmakers of El Paso and the world. Keeping it real like a roll of film, always looking to develop with you, the listeners, the dreamers, and the stories you tell. Welcome to this exhibit. Here with us today is an architect of culture, as coined by the Muscle. He's operated the cameras for the local news stations of El Paso. He used that knowledge to propel himself into a larger world. We talk a lot about the hero's journey of filmmakers here. And with us today is one that personally has kept us all grounded, rooted, and instilled a great deal of inspiration. If you want to come up, a true and honest come up, before we start, we have the one and only Ravisuals here with us today. How's it going, man?
Oh, what's up? What's up? Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
He said, "What's up? What's up?"
What's up, guys?
Excited to have you on.
Hey.
I remember talking to the guys, and early on when we planned to have you, I was like, we got to get Raul on this, because Raul is the key example of somebody in El Paso who didn't have to leave El Paso to make it. Like, he's making the dream come true, and he's still living here, and he's still supporting artists around here, and helping any and every filmmaker that like wants to collaborate or needs advice or anything. So Raul, definitely, man, we're excited to have you on the show today. We appreciate you being on, brother.
Awesome, brother. Thank you, man. I'm happy to be here.
I think that it's a very exciting time for us right now because, you know, I think that the one thing that has kind of kept me going has been this podcast. And I remember, you know, when you're sort of introduced to all these new players. I mean, we have Austin Young in the background right here, and De La O, our director, directing us in the right direction, as always. You know, one of the things that I know I really value in my life is when I'm able to congregate with others and meet other people who are like-minded. And I did get the chance to be lucky enough to meet Tower, and through Tower we got to work with Raul. And you know, I just remember that experience being very very beautiful, because it was this big set and there was music and a beautiful like set that we got to work on. And I think one of the biggest things that I took away from that was that you can be as real as you want on set, because Raul just kept it real chill, kept it real professional. You know, he told you what he wanted, and that was it. And he treated you with respect. He knew that you knew what you he knew you knew your stuff. So yeah. He just gonna let you do you. But.
I gotta talk about that a little bit, because the way we met Raul was really cool, and how we came to be on that set and other sets collaborating on him or with him. Here's the cool thing about Raul. When you start getting into the filmmaking game, you hear his name, but you don't know who he is. You don't see a face to the name, because he's super low key. He keeps super low key on what he's working on, but his work is not low key. His work is big, and his work. I mean, just to name a few of the artists that he's worked with. I mean, he's worked with people like Snoop Dogg and Pitbull and Ice Cube and even more of the banda music and recent music videos he's got to work on. He's worked with all these big artists, man, and it doesn't faze him. So you hear about that, and I remember my sister-in-law, she went to high school with Raul, and she told me when I kind of started getting into the filmmaking game, he's like, "Hey, yo, do you know Raul?" I was like, "You know what, we're friends on Facebook, but I haven't met him." He's like, "Yo, no," he's like, "You should check him out. He's really talented. You know, he made it out of." Me and Raul went to the same high school, 10 years apart, or 15 years apart. It was so Socorro High School, right? So we kind of come from that same hood, and she was like, "Yeah, you know, he's a really nice dude. You should check him out." And then on Facebook, you just see him post like all the stuff he's worked on, and then like, "Yo, flashback to this, flashback to that. I've been doing this." And then one time I told the Tower execs, I told Austin and Michael and Eric, I was like, "Yo, you know what? Let's reach out to Raul, man. Like, there's stuff this guy can teach us. Like, let's reach out to him. Let's let him know who we are. I don't know if he knows anything about us. Let's just tell him like, hey, man, we're here if you need any help. You know, let's just try to get a meeting with him and get to know each other." And Raul was cool, man, because we told him, "Yo, our usual meeting spot's like Village Inn," and Raul's get something to eat though. Like, let's go get some barbecue. Famous Dave's or some Rudy's. I mean, let's go get some Rudy's barbecue. You guys want to meet there?
Yeah.
Let's do it, man. So we met at Rudy's and just literally just picked Raul's brain, man. Like, yo, told him these are the films we've done. We've done these music videos. But what can you tell us, man, about being in the game? And you've been in the game for so long. And man, he just like a floodgate, man, opened up and told us, yo, this is what you got to do, and this is what you got to do. And literally said, man, like, yo, I had heard of you guys, but I didn't know who you guys were. Now that I know who you are, like, I'm gonna reach out to you guys for some big sets. Like, we got some stuff coming up, and I could always use the help. And I was like, yeah, man, of course. Like, that's the whole point, right? Is meeting, and from there led into the Abe Mac music video, which was really, really fun. And then all the Tower guys, man, they were just like impressed, man. Just like, everybody was like, whoa, this is a real.
Awesome.
Like, we just walked into a real set that completely under control, and that was great for everybody to see, you know, because we've been exposed to sets here and there, and obviously our own sets, which we try to make professional. But I think that's what's great about your set, Ro, is that it authenticated, like, oh, we're doing the right thing here. Like, we're doing everything according to standard, according to procedure, and look at Raul's set. He's doing it without even, he could do this with his eyes closed. Like, look what he's doing. So that was a fun set to be on, man. So I just wanted to give a little background on how we met Raul and how he's been to us, man. He's always up for, like, yo, come help me out. I'll help you guys out if you guys need a production, and if you guys need equipment, or if I need some equipment, like, we always trade off. Like, stuff like that's always been real cool with Raul. So just a little intro on the man himself.
So before we start the questions, I just wanted to highlight a review I had found on the Ravisuals Google reviews. It's by it was done by Rudy, a person named Rudy. I feel like they might know them, but I did really like the way he described Raul's work ethic. So before we jump into him and get to the man, the myth, the legend, here's the review that they left. Ravisuals is a top quality production house. Would highly recommend their services for any productions from weddings, documentaries, commercials, music, films. Raul, the cinematographer, is a detailed, emotional storyteller with an eye for those special, magical moments. I have worked with Raul and have experienced his talent as a filmmaker and as a professional still photographer. No matter the assignment or the budget, Ravisuals Productions is your creative team. I mean, do you think that this is accurate, man, or is he just kind of like talking to butter you up? I mean, you're gonna have to.
Raul, I gotta pay people to get that review, you know?
Right. I hope they were happy. I guess they were happy with the video I did for them, I guess.
I know. It looks like you delivered their child and filmed it, you know? Like, I mean, that was...
That's what's up. No, yeah, man. It's pretty accurate, I guess.
Yeah.
I mean, I let my work speak for itself, you know what I mean? Like you said, I'm pretty chill, you know what I mean? But, like, I put all my effort into my work, and I let the work speak for itself, you know?
For sure.
So,
I guess since the work does speak for itself, man, how did it begin? Like, can you take us through your filmmaking journey? Where did your journey start as a photographer, filmmaker, music producer?
Yeah, man, it started way back in high school, bro. When I was in high school, I graduated back in 99. So I started doing the media tech class. It was back in like 1998, 97. And that's because, I mean, I didn't know, you know, in high school, you're like freaking out. You're like, I don't know, you know, what am I going to do when I graduate, all that. Everybody starts freaking out. So I was the same way since a freshman. So I don't know what I'm going to do, man. Like, I have been working since I was in 7th grade. You know, I've been working I did like hard jobs. Like I was a janitor. I did a bunch of other stuff, you know. I worked at Home Depot, you know, a bunch of like shitty jobs. And I was like, there's no way I wouldn't be doing that, you know.
You're a real Mexican.
Yeah, exactly, bro. Yeah, I was working as a janitor when I was in 7th grade, bro. But yeah, so in high school, I was like, man, I'm not going to do any of those shitty jobs, man. Like, I want to get a good career and I want to be happy with my, you know, with what I'm doing. So I tried everything from, I think they had like computer maintenance, they had electrical trades, a bunch of different stuff, different electives, but I didn't like any of those. And after a while, I kind of got tired. I was like, you know what, man, I'm going to just go to this fun class. There was a class called Media Tech, and they just seemed fun. Like everybody was there having fun, you know what I mean, just playing around with cameras. So I'm like, you know what, I'm going to just go and have fun and join this class. And sure enough, man, as soon as I got the camera and started shooting, like I just fell in love with the process, with everything, you know what I mean? Just capturing the images, just like kind of playing with lighting, all that, you know? So I kind of just stuck to it, bro. And the teacher was like, oh, snap, like, you're really good at this. She's like, I can probably get you a job when you graduate high school. I'm like, all right. So she's like, just, you know, continue doing what you're doing. So yeah, man, I started filming everything from all the sports, man. I started filming everything, like all the high school games, all the football, baseball, basketball. I was filming everything.
Yeah,
I was there on the weekends editing and shit, you know, just trying to have it ready by the Monday.
Editing.
Yeah, exactly. So yeah, that's when I knew. I was like, you know what, man, I really like this. So yeah, as soon as I graduated high school, she got me a job at the TV stations here. So I started working for Channel 4, CBS 4, right out of high school in '99. Right. So I've been doing this for over 20 years already, man. So I did news. I was there at Channel 4 for 2.5 years, and then I ended up going to Univision 26. So I did that for like another 2.5 years. But after like 5 years of doing news, it was cool, man. I was doing a lot of sports. Like I used to go to the Dallas Cowboys training camps. I used to do that. I used to do the Major League training camps over here in Tucson. I did a lot of traveling with them. It was cool. I liked it. But after a while, it's like, all right, now what's next? You know what I mean?
Right.
It's like, am I going to continue doing this? The main thing that kind of pushed me away was the money. Like I got to that point where it was like, I think it was like $13 an hour or something. They're like, that's it, man. You're at the top. You know what I mean? You're not going to get any more. I'm like, oh snap. That's kind of what changed my mind. I was like, you know what? Well, I got to start looking at something else. Like I want to continue doing this. I want to continue doing video and everything. But, so yeah, I just kind of started thinking, and I was like, you know what? I've always wanted to do music videos. Back in the day, I grew up watching MTV, all the music videos, everything. So
back when they would play music videos.
Bro,
yeah, exactly.
Tell the story, bros. I know you've told it to me, but you got to tell the story of what going into music videos was. You got to tell us that. What?
Yeah, bro. So that this happened right after, right when I left news. I was like, shit. I want to get into the film industry, like music videos and all that. How do I get into it? And I was clueless, bro. I was like 24 years old, probably. This is back in like 2004, I think it was. Yeah, bro. I was like, you know what? I'm going to call MTV. I'm going to just call and see if they're hiring. So I called them up, bro. I called MTV. And then the lady answered, and she was like, I told her, are you guys hiring? And she was like, for what? I'm like, for the music videos, to film the videos. And she kind of laughed at me. She laughed at me, but then she realized I was being serious. So she was like, wait, what? She was like, she kind of like broken down to me, you know. She was like, you know what, you gotta, people go to film school, or they just, you know, the videos come from all over. We just play them, you know. We're just the channel. I was like, all right, cool, that makes sense. So I started I just did my research, bro. I did, you know, I looked up film schools, and I found two in California. There was one in Santa Barbara, it was called Brooks. I don't think it's around anymore. And then there was the Los Angeles Film School, which is the one that I went to. The one in Santa Barbara was $75,000. The Brooks was $40,000 for 1 year. So I was like, yeah, I can probably afford this one. You know, I had to apply for the loan, and I applied, and I got it. So I was like, you know what? I could just pack my bags and left, man.
Yeah.
Which is
24.
Film school that is still around today. And
yeah.
I remember you telling me that this film school is literally like you went to class on Hollywood Boulevard. Like,
yeah.
You went to class on Hollywood Boulevard, and then from there you'd go to the studios and all that, and got some experience from going to Paramount and Warner Brothers, and they just take you guys to the studios, right?
Yeah, it was dope. It wasn't actually on Hollywood. It was on Sunset, which is like, you know, a block away. Right. But you're like 5 minutes away from the Walk of Fame, you know. Wow. We were actually across the street from the ArcLight Theater. I don't know if you guys are familiar with that theater. It's like the big round dome.
Yeah.
They have a lot of red carpets there, which was dope, man, because it's right across the street from the film school. So when I would come out, during the breaks, there's a big red carpet, and you see all these celebrities, and everybody's there, you know. I'm like, oh, snap. So just being there in Hollywood and seeing the celebrities across the street, you know, and all that, it was like, oh, snap, you know.
And it authentic, right? It makes you feel like, yo, I'm into business. Like, I'm something important here. Yeah,
exactly. And then, yeah, man, so during the class, that school was crazy, man. It was, they told us, you know what, you're going to go to school either 7 days a week, or if you're not in class, you're doing a project, you know what I mean? So they're like, get an extra for the loan. They told us to get an extra $10,000 for living expenses, because you weren't going to be able to work at all. Like, you're going to be going to school full time. It's pretty much, just full time, always either in class or doing a project. So that's what we did, man. We were going to, they would take us one day to the studios to kind of go and check them out. We would have workshops at the Mo Richardson company. That's where they had all like the professional lights. Like, it was like a Toys R Us for us, you know what I mean? We walked in, and they're like fucking hundreds of lights everywhere, and they're like, and there were sets built. And it was like, all right, how would you like this? And then so we pretty much had access to all the lights. Like, let's see what this one does. Let's see what this one does. You know what I mean? So it was pretty awesome, man. Being awesome just to be out there in Hollywood, going to all the studios, also going to the rental houses, because the rental houses is another big thing in Hollywood.
Sure.
You know, you can't just go and buy these big cameras. I mean, you can if you have the money, but
you worked in a very prestigious rental house out in Hollywood for quite some time, right? Did that shape your experience?
Yeah, man. And the reason I did that was because that's what they recommended at film school. They're like, pretty much they told us, we're not going to get you a job when you graduate. You're on your own, pretty much. You know what I mean? And this industry it's all about who you know, and your work. You know, your work speaks for itself. So when I graduated film school, it was like, I didn't really have a reel. I didn't have anything to show, you know, and I didn't really know anybody in the industry. Back in the day, it was a lot harder to get into the industry because, like now, there's people with cameras everywhere. Around that time, it was really hard. It was all union, you know what I mean? It was all union. If not, it was all super low budget. And so yeah, I was like, you know what? There's rental houses here, and all the ACs are there. The directors, producers, everybody's there. You know, it's a good place to network. So yeah, I started working at the rental house.
That's kind of like the what you sign up for when you pick up a camera, is that, you know, you kind of have to decide, like, are you going to do this for fun, or do you at least want to really attempt to try to make a living off of it? Because you know, I know that many of us might not want to link our dreams with money, but I think that as you get older and you realize you have to pay for some of your stuff, like, you kind of do want to say, like, you know what, I would love to be, I mean, for me at least, I'm always like, I would love to play my phone bill with my camera. Well, that's kind of what it is for me, like, you know. And from hearing your story, man, I get the gist that whenever you work, you're a climber, you climb the ladders, and you know, when someone tells you that's it, man, it's 13 an hour, you're like, nah, I'm going for more, because you know that's not going to sustain. You're not even just your living expenses, like how your school recommended it for you, but also just, you know, like, you know, being able to buy stuff for yourself and support your dream. I was gonna ask before we you know, continue on. Do you think, how has your bringing up influenced your work in any way? Like, whether it be childhood or was it school? Which one had the most influence, or was it working at the news stations?
I guess I mean, I had a lot of influences growing up, especially like my parents, my dad. You know, he worked a minimum wage job still to this day. You know, well, he's already retired, but yeah, like, but his work ethic was crazy, man. Like, he worked day and night. You know what I mean? He's a boot maker. He makes boots. So he would go to Tony Lama, work all day, come home, and you know what I mean? So that kind of, and then just doing it for the love, you know, because that's what he loves. That's his passion. So that's kind of where I got that, you know, from him. And yeah, bro, that motivated me. And then me coming up, and I grew up, you know, Socorro was kind of ghetto, man. Back in the day was kind of gangster, man. So growing up from the streets, growing up from a lot of violence and all that craziness, I'll get in. That's another whole interview. Yeah, man. So that kind of pushed me. That was like, you know what, man, I can't stay here, man. I gotta go. I gotta do something with my life. You know what I mean? I gotta get out of the hood and make it out of here. So that's kind of what pushed me, man. You know, just go out there and follow my dreams.
So upon graduating film school, which was a big feat, and I remember you telling me the story of when you told your mom, and you told your mom, like, Mom, I got the loan. I'm out of here. Like, I'm bouncing. You got this big accomplishment done, and you graduate film school, and then tell us a little bit about Ski TV and how that comes into play, because I know that was a big, major stepping stone for your career. So what's the deal with Ski TV? What was that all about?
Ski TV is a company that we pretty much got going. It was already around, but it was just music, you know, with DJ Ski. He's the owner of the company. But that started because, I was working at the rental house, and like, I was at the rental houses for like 2 years. But throughout that time, I was shooting a ton of videos. I was doing like a bunch of videos for free or super cheap, you know what I mean? Just to build my reel, you know. I'm like, I just want to shoot. So I think this is back in the MySpace days. I had, like, if you went to my profile, I had it all like picked out, and then I had like hundreds of videos in there.
The little gifs, you know?
So I had a bunch of videos. Like, my page I had so many videos, it was so slow to open. Like, it would take forever. People were like, we're not even going to.
No, but I swear it's really good. I swear
there's a lot of good stuff in there.
Turn off your Wi-Fi.
Above your top 10 friends or whatever.
Yeah, remember that? Yeah, brother. So yeah, that's how I started getting a lot of work. I started, you know, showing my work, boom, 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 and this artist that I shot for, his name is Young D. He knew Matt Alonso, and he was like, "Yo, you know what? There's this other kid, Matt Alonso. He's about to graduate film school too. He actually went to the other school, Brooks, that I told you about. He went to that one. Dang. He's like, this was about to graduate. He's looking for a crew because he's by himself." And I'm like, "All right, cool." So he put me in contact with Matt Alonso. Next thing you know, that time when I talked to Matt, he was in New York shooting for Lil Wayne, and then he came back to LA, and then he hit me up. He's like, "Yo, man, I'm in town. I want to shoot a video right now in Hollywood. Can you come through?" I'm like, "What?" I'm like, "Actually, yeah, I'm right here in Hollywood down the street. You know, give me the address." And it was like 2 blocks away. It was a studio, a recording studio. So I'm like, "Oh snap! All right, cool." So I told my boy,
You're like,
I told my boy Dom. I'm like, "Yo, let's get some cameras." We asked the owner. The owner was super cool. You know, he's a DP also. we're like, it was slow. So he was like, yo, can we take off for a couple hours? We're going to go shoot a video. He was like, yeah, go ahead, man. Take cameras, whatever you need, you know, lights. So we grabbed like 3 cameras, a light kit, and we just took off over there. And then we show up, and then Snoop is right there just sitting on the couch, like, oh, snap.
Like,
so I went from, yeah, exactly. So I went from shooting a bunch of nobodies, you know, to like all of a sudden Snoop is there, and then Ski was there, DJ Ski. So I met both of them there, and then, we shot that video, and everybody loved it, bro. And Ski was like, you know what, we should start a production company, get a team together, and cause like he had access to all the artists, you know what I mean? Yeah. He's like, I can get you the artists. You guys down to shoot the videos? And we're like, hell yeah, let's go. So that's where Ski TV started, bro.
Yeah.
And what can you tell us a little bit about some of the artists that you got to work with through Ski TV? Like, I know I named a few, but what were some of your favorite experiences? Some of the throughout the years. I know you share them on Facebook and stuff, and everybody's like, yo, like, you know, obviously super impressive. But what are some of your favorite experiences that you got to work on with Ski TV?
I mean, for sure. I'm old school, man, so I listen to all the old school hip hop, you know, like Ice Cube, man. I got to shoot 3 videos for Ice Cube. That was super dope. The Game, Exhibit, Cypress Hill. Yeah, Cypress Hill too, you know what I mean? We did like 5 videos from Cypress Hill, but one of them was with Damian Marley, which was like crazy, bro, just being on set with Damian. So that was dope, man, and just so many artists, man. It's like, who else? Like, shit, I always forget, but I always black out. Yeah. Pusha T was dope. I'm a big fan of Pusha. So we got to shoot for Pusha. Kendrick too. Did a couple. Kendrick used to actually show up to the Ski TV office just like that, random, bro. Like this is before he blew up, and we kind of already knew. Like he was already dope before, you know what I mean? And Ski was like, yo, this kid's gonna blow up. And then we always had a bunch of artists around, so we're like, yeah, whatever. He would come in the booth and then just spit. Like I have videos. What's that?
Back when he was K-Dot.
Yeah, bro. It's like I have videos of him just spinning that never came out. You know what I mean? Like him just in the booth. Like, so he was always there. There was always a bunch of artists there.
Hey, but even, like those videos are ones you can share with us, though, right?
Right? I should post. Like I got to look for him.
I have a big mouth, dude.
So yeah, man. Just you know what I mean, being with all these artists, and then all of a sudden kind of switched to banda, so that's that's kind of what I started doing now.
No, that's what's hot right now, and that's what I know you've been able to. You've had the luxury of shooting. I mean, what's awesome about Raul is like when I say that, and I do want to talk about that, about you coming back to El Paso and kind of the stories you've told me of when you got married and you guys decided to come back. But I want to ask you, like, or I want to make it a point that, like, for anybody listening out there, like, Raul is somebody who's from El Paso, who's based in El Paso, but the man's traveling every other week. I mean, the man's he's going out to somewhere in California to shoot a video or to do
and stuff,
or New Mexico. But then you hear or you see Raul's, like, you're texting with him like, yo, what's up? Where you at? Oh, I'm in Colombia right now. Bro, shooting this music video out here, or I'm in deep Mexico City shooting this other video. Like, they randomly like send him out, and he's shooting with these big artists. So just know this is somebody who, like, on a weekly basis, yo, we need you for a video out here, and he's traveling the world. So just super impressive. But let's bring it back to home. When you spent some time out there in LA making connections and establishing yourself as a cinematographer and as a gaffer, even sometimes as a director, which I know you've expressed to me that you don't like the directing thing and you try to stay, but you like the cinematography thing.
For sure.
How was it coming back to town, man, and kind of establishing yourself here when you already had made a name for yourself in LA? What was that like?
It was pretty hard, man, because, you know what I mean, like even in LA, because even though there's more work, I mean, it took me forever to get up the ladder, you know what I mean? So I was already up there. I was already getting all, like, big budget videos, commercials, all that, you know? And a bunch of things happened, bro, and then, you know, I got, you know, I have a daughter, got married, and, you know, I got the family now. Yeah. So after being out there for like 10 years, I was like, you know what, man, I was planning on coming back, but I wasn't planning on coming back right away. You know, I was like, I'm going to stay out here for at least 20 years or something, you know? But I was like, all right, things happen, you know, life happens. So I was like, all right, man, I go back to El Paso. And so we came back, bro. And I was like, you know what, I've always I saw it more as a challenge instead of seeing like, oh man, that's messed up, I got to go back home. It's like, it's a new challenge, you know what I mean? It's a new chapter in my life. So I was like, all right, let's go, let's do it, you know? So that's when I was like, you know what, I've always wanted to start my company, because I didn't have my company Ravisuals yet.
Right, this is how it kind of formulated.
Yeah, exactly. Before it was just me freelancing. So I came back and I was like, and then I started, it was hard getting jobs, man, because everybody's like, well, who do you work for? What's your company? This and that.
Yeah.
You know, when I was hitting up businesses, I was like, you know what? I told my wife, we got to start a company. And then even just coming up with the name, I was like, damn, bro. Like, I remember like I still have the list of names, like stupid random names, bro. I was like, you know what? Just keep it simple. Like, what do I do? Visuals. And then my name's Raul. My nickname is
what am I?
Raw.
I'm pretty raw. Like,
yeah, that's my nickname is Raw. So I was like, you know what? Just call it Ravisuals. So that's how that came about. And yeah, exactly. And yeah, man, I got that out here, and then just kind of started, you know, just going out there and networking. That's the main thing, is just networking, hitting up different businesses. I was going door to door trying to get jobs, and I've been back already for like 7 years, I think it is. Yeah, 6.
I think what's interesting is that you're ahead of the curve, or at least you were ahead of the curve, Raul, because a lot of people are discovering that LA is not where it's at. Like, yeah, that's where it started and that's where it made itself, but you don't have to live there to work there, basically.
Yeah.
And then on top of that, most productions are working out in New Mexico. They're working closer to Texas, quite honestly, right?
Yeah.
A lot of them are.
A lot of them are. And I mean, the studios are still active, and luckily they're still shooting stuff out there. But I think you were ahead of the curve, because now everybody's moving out. Everybody's based in different places. Even the big with the biggest names on them, they don't live in LA. A lot of them live in Texas. You know, like Robert Rodriguez is an example. He lives in Austin. You know, he's not, but he goes to LA and shoots his stuff, right? So I think you were ahead of the curve in that front, and I think one of the big things to point out that's super obvious, but a lot of dreamers kind of don't realize that it's expensive living in LA. And I remember you telling me that's one of the big reasons that you're like, yo, I got a family, I got to be smart. LA is stupid expensive for a tiny apartment. I could get a house in, you know, and I think that's just a big example for you to elaborate on that, because you're still doing it, man. Like, you made it, and you're based off in your hometown, and you're living comfortably with your family, but you're not spending all your rent money on some, you know, apartment that might not even be worth it, right?
Yeah, man. LA is crazy expensive, and that was one of the main things. I was like, you know what? Yeah, I can't raise a family in an apartment. You know what I mean? I want to provide a house for them and everything. Because we actually before we moved back, we actually went around and looked around at houses and everything. But everything was like $500,000 and up, you know. There was nothing lower than $1 million, and that was out in the middle of nowhere, like 2 hours away from LA, you know. Yeah. So I was like, So I was like, all right, well, there goes that, you know. Because even my homies, man, like I have a lot of homies in LA. Everybody's very successful, man. They're working on all the biggest projects, but everybody still has a 1-bedroom apartment. You know what I mean? 1-bedroom, 2-bedroom apartment. A condo in downtown LA is like $700,000, $800,000. You know what I mean? A condo. It's like, damn, bro. You know what I mean?
Tell me what you guys did, at least when you were kind of living out there before you got married, which I thought was really cool idea, was a bunch of you guys just live together. Like, you'd get a small and just make the best of it that way. Like, yo, let's all put up the money. We're going to live together. We're all filmmakers living together in LA.
Yeah.
It was top ramen days.
What I love about that is you told me recently that you sent one of your homies over there when he wanted to move to LA. Like, yo, they still have that house. Like, they're still like rooming.
Yeah.
I'm gonna hook you up with my homies out there. And I thought that was really cool, because it's like something that's stood the test of time. Like, yo, it's still expensive. It's damn more expensive now. So you guys are still kind of helping each other out that way whenever you go out to LA, or you want to send somebody who feels like they got to be out there. That's really cool, man. I think it's really cool. It's artists supporting artists, right? At the end of the day, it's people helping each other out who have an extra room, or who want to be able to put up some money for a room. So I think that's really cool, man. It's really admirable for your homies that started that up out there.
What's the... Oh, my bad, man. Go ahead.
No, I was going to say, with like everything that's gone on, I mean, from you like starting here at New Station, then you go over to LA, you go to film school. I mean, you know, you start working with like big artists and all that. Did it hit you at one day like, I've made it? Like, this is where I thought I would be, and now I'm here? Or is that still something to come now that you got Raw Visuals and you're still working on that? I mean, you're not retiring. You don't look like you're retired yet.
Oh, no.
Nah. Just getting started, bro.
Yeah,
man. When I was out there, bro, when I started working on the big budgets, because like I said, even like that first video I did for Snoop was super low budget, bro. But little by little, like with the budget started getting higher and higher, once they started reaching like the $100,000 budgets and all that, you're like, oh, snap. That's when it was like, oh, snap, I finally made it, you know what I mean? Because I had all the toys. Like, if I wanted a 12K, they would get it for me. If I wanted a crane, they would get it for me. If I wanted whatever, that's when you're like, oh, snap, okay, you know? Start playing with those big boy toys. That's when you're.
So is there like a new dream, or is there a new thing to do, or is it just you love what you're doing and that's what you're going to keep doing till you can't?
I mean, yeah, the new goal is like I said, I see this as a new challenge, and now being here is feature films, bro. Like I did some low budget stuff, but the goal now is to start producing our feature films and do them here in El Paso, you know.
And that's where power comes in, bro. That's what we've been saying.
Yeah.
Get these feature films in. We're gonna bring Raul.
Exactly.
These bigger productions, and that's how we're gonna collaborate and make it all happen, man.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Go.
Sorry, really quick. Well, now I was gonna say that's a goal, and then another goal is for sure we wanna. I was talking to Paco about it, Paco Ibarra. We wanna do not a film school, but kind of like what do you call it? Like kind of workshops. You know what I mean? Just do like full-time workshops. I don't want it to be too kind of like just like a film school. I don't want it. I want it to be more.
They even have that like at Austin School of Film, where it's like a little like film institute, and then they're just doing workshops for everybody on like VFX and all that. My girlfriend, she actually did a course like last week at home, but it was from Austin School of Film, and it was on like horror movie makeup. And then they send you a kit and all that, and they're working with you. So yeah, get something like that here.
And you've already had a couple. You've had some experience on doing a couple of workshops here. I remember we talked about. We're going to collaborate on one soon, and that's going to be really exciting once we're able to get that Ravisuals Tower workshop up and running. But you've already had the experience of getting a couple, and they packed out, man. I mean, I'm talking like hundreds of people that showed up to your workshop. How was that? How was that experience?
It was good, man. Like for me, like I told you, I get nervous, bro. Like I have, for some reason, I get nervous, like in front of people or speaking or being like the center of attention. So it's kind of, it was like, it was more like practice for me. You know what I mean? Like the workshop was dope. Like everybody was like super, super happy. I got like a lot of good reviews. So it went awesome, bro. Like the way I like to teach is more hands-on. You know what I mean? Like it's like, cause I've been wanting to do these videos, you know, like these how-to videos on YouTube, but it's like, it's hard for me to teach like that. I'd rather have you here, and it's like this is how you use a C-stand. This is how you set up a keynote.
Yeah, man. You could watch 10 videos on how to use a C-stand, and then when you finally touch one, you realize like that it means nothing.
Yeah,
you know?
Exactly. So yeah, the workshop was dope, man. They liked it. The only thing the only feedback I kind of like the negative feedback was like it was a little too much. You know what I mean?
Too much. For one day.
Yeah, exactly. So on the next one, I kind of want to slow it down a little bit. You know, let the guys kind of have them more creative. You know. Creativities and just kind of let them go, just let them lie, let them shoot, and if they have any questions they can hit me up, you know?
I think that's kind of what I was kind of going towards is like what is your process in terms of like when you meet new people, like or internally with yourself, like how does your process go? Like what have you really discovered about yourself now that you didn't have before? Like how does your process kind of like help you out throughout your day? Like
like what do you mean, like for as far like being on set or how?
Just anything, man. Like I think like you're not only just a filmmaker, you're an entrepreneur, you know what I'm saying, your business, like what kind of aspects do you find in yourself where you're like, you know what, man, this is why I'm like Ravisuals, because I have this, and the other, you know what I'm saying? Like what are like the three pillars like that you really feel like keep you standing? Like
I don't know. I mean, I guess just creativity, man. Just trying to be something different. Just be different, you know? That's the main thing. Not try to follow what everybody else is doing. Just try to do your own thing. And I think that's it. I don't know if I answered your question right.
No, you're good. Like what would you say is like a strong aspect that you feel a filmmaker needs to have in order for them to progress as much as you have?
Like, is there a work ethic that you think that you do now that if you had started earlier on, it would have helped you get to here faster?
Or is it I don't know, man. I think the main thing is patience, bro. Patience is a big thing. That's what I tell a lot of kids that hit me up, and what I see a lot of kids now. Everybody wants to be an entrepreneur. Everybody wants to get to the top and do these big videos. Yeah. I'm like, that's cool, man. You see me doing it, but you didn't see the struggle. You know what I mean? Like, I was working for free, like I said, for even after film school, man. After film school, I was still working for free, and so it was a lot of patience, bro. And I didn't even think about starting a company till way later, you know. Now everybody wants to be an entrepreneur and start a company, but I tell the kids, how are you going to start a company when your videos suck? You know what I mean? Like, make sure your product is good first, you know, practice your craft, and then once you got that mastered, then you can, you know, start a company.
Would you say now, Raul? I think it's interesting because you went through the generations, man. Like you've since the late 90s up until this point. Like, is it easier now to become a filmmaker, or is it harder?
Oh, way easier.
You think it's way easier?
It's way easier, man. Just because pretty much the camera shoots itself now, bro. Like, anybody can pick up a camera and they're going to get a good picture. It's hard to mess up footage now, you know what I mean?
Would you say, like, is there any challenge? Because you're right. I think it optimizes everything so that anybody could pick up a camera and do it. But I think because there's more people to compete with, that also presents a challenge, no? Or would you say that that's kind of like whatever? How do you see kind of the amount of the volume of people that are now shooting and trying to knock their way on Hollywood, right? They're trying to knock that door down. Would you say that changes anything, or that's changed over the years?
It did, in Hollywood it did change, because, and that's another reason why I left, because the more I was there was so many people coming. When I was there, there was a lot of people, but you wouldn't see that many filmmakers, like indie filmmakers, you know? It was more union guys, the big guy. After a while, there was so many cats coming from everywhere, and even on our sets, we had people shooting behind the scenes with the Red, and I'm over here shooting with a little Canon. You know what I mean? and they're shooting for free. You know what I mean? It's like, yo, let me just borrow your camera, bro. You know what I mean? So yeah, bro, like, it's so hard to get on these videos because there's so many other dudes that are willing to do it for super cheap or free. You know what I mean? So in that part, it does suck. And I'm seeing that here in El Paso here now. Like now for a lot of the jobs that call me, they're like, oh, I can just get somebody. Once they hear my price, they're like, I'll just get my nephew, or I get so for doing it for $500. It's like, yeah. So it's just kind of, you know, you got to separate yourself.
Your nephew ain't gonna give you that quality that Ravisuals gives you.
Exactly. That's what I tell them. You get what you pay for. You know what I mean? So
yeah.
It's admirable to see you guys do that, because we got to meet a lot of you guys through that. Paco, we've known for throughout different shoots and stuff, and the guys out there doing it like Limon, and we're trying to we'll get those guys on the show as well. We'll get Paco and Limon and all these guys on the show pretty soon. But
dope.
Admirable, man, that you guys are jumping back and forth, not only but in El Paso, but you're also doing gigs in Juarez that's paying the bills, man, that seem to be keeping Juarez filmmakers up. And I know when Paco does shoots out there, he's trying to get kids from Juarez to help him out, right, to kind of share the type of deal. So I think that's super admirable, man. Can you talk a little bit about that, like the experience of shooting on the borderland, and how sometimes in El Paso you got to reach out to Juarez cats, and sometimes in Juarez you bring your El Paso cats, and how's that been for you?
Shooting in Juarez, it's cool, man. I love shooting out there, especially because locations, you know what I mean? The locations are way different than out here. Yeah, man, I love it. I love working with Paco out there. It's dope. The only thing out there, they don't really care about hours, so you're going to shoot for 12, 14 hours, man. It's crazy.
Union
but,
hours, right? No union.
Yeah, there's no union. There's none of that, bro. But yeah, and then as far as bringing kids, man, I like doing that, bro, because like when I started, I didn't really have much help. You know, it was just me and my boys, and we were just kind of grinding and trying to do whatever. You know, no one really helped us get these, you know, these big clients. So yeah, man, for me, it was like, I like to, you know, like talk to younger filmmakers like you guys and all that, and anything I can do to help, you know. And then so when I'm on set, oh snap,
You're good.
So yeah, so whenever I have a shoot, man, if I get the chance, if I get the opportunity, I try to bring, you know, dudes from Juarez out there, especially in Juarez. Right now, they can't cross over here. Hold on, my battery's low. All right. Yeah, so I try to, when I'm out there, I get guys from Juarez to help us over there, and then now here in El Paso, you know, I just try to reach out to you guys and help out.
No, so what I was saying was, like, I remember bumping into guys on your sets, guys like Dan Lamas, who does really great work, and he's on top of it, man. He's your AD or your AC, and he's always on top of it. Guys like Colombia, shout out to Colombia, he does a really good job when he's on set.
Oh, fuck.
There we go.
How you kicking things, man?
But they've kind of...
I know, bro, I'm telling you.
So you
want to start that thought over, Carlos? That way we're
not do it again.
No, one thing to mention was, like, the guys that have kind of become your reliables or kind of become your crew, like kind of unofficially, is guys like Dan Lamas and Colombia. Shout out to those guys. They've done that. Whenever I see them on set, whether it's your set or other sets, like, they've learned a lot from you, and then they take it elsewhere and they apply it, and they're making their money too, man. And we've reached out to them even for sets for us. So it's exciting to see guys like that are learning from you. And then the minute you have a shoot, like, yo, I'm going to call Paco, I'm going to call Dan, I'm going to call Colombia, you know, and kind of become your little kind of makeshift crew, right? Which is really exciting for the kids that you bring on. I think that's really cool.
Yeah. That's what I try to do, man. You know, and just try to inspire them. Like, you know, when I bring them on, it's like, you don't have to just stay on my crew, bro. Like, you're a freelancer, go work with whatever, man. And it's better to work with other crews, you know, because you learn so much from everybody else.
Yeah.
Everybody has a different style, or every DP is different. They like different, especially because we all have different gear. So I try to push them, try to motivate them, and yeah, man, as soon as I have a gig, I bring them on, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
That was one of the things, my bad. That was one of the things that I wanted to do when I came back over here, because when I came, there wasn't that many crews, man. There wasn't really many people in the film industry. So it was like, damn, I'm going to have to train a bunch of people and just start building my crew. Because in LA, we had a crew of like 30 people, bro. Like, we had a huge crew.
Yeah.
And these are the same guys.
Makeshift crew, you could just get them real quick, right?
Yeah, exactly. And because we had gigs like every other day, boom, boom, boom. So when I was on set, I was already calling other people for another video, like, yo, you're available tomorrow, this and that, you know what I mean? So it was like, so it's good to have people everywhere, you know what I mean? So that's why I'm always, if you see me on Facebook, I'm always posting like, yo, I'm looking for producers, I'm looking for ADs, because a lot of these positions, we don't have them here, man. Like right now, we're placing bids for bigger jobs, and on these bigger jobs, you need people like a first AD. You need producers to handle all the paperwork, all the locations, all the logistics, and we don't really have that here, you know? So that's another thing that we need to train.
And that's...
Sorry, go ahead, Austin.
Oh, no, I just want to kind of piggyback off of that, because I know we've had discussions with Drew ourselves who've said, you know, we lose certain jobs because of stuff like that. I mean, just because we know a lot of our audience base here is based here in El Paso, maybe if you can just give us a little insight and let people know, you know, who also listen, what they can do to become eligible to be people that you guys can call and rely on them, you know, like, because I know Drew has mentioned a lot of times it's just people not having like their IMDb profiles updated, stuff of that nature. And like, what do you guys look for when you look for crew like in here in El Paso or Las Cruces, Juarez, stuff like that?
I mean, what we want is somebody that's what they do. Like, if you're an AD, that's what you do. If you're an AC, that's what you do. The problem here is that there's a lot of filmmakers, but everybody kind of does a little bit of everything. Yeah. Or everybody wants to be either director or everybody wants to be a camera guy. Nobody thinks about like first AD or second AD or first AC, second AC, you know, AD, all that, you know. So if that's what you want to do, and stick to that, you know what I mean? Because that's like, we don't, if you have an IMDb and it's all over the place, you know what I mean? Like, it's hard to bring you on the big jobs.
Shout out to the guys like Raul. Shout out to the guys like Raul, like Paco, like Ramon Villa. Shout out to the guys like Board and some of the other companies that are getting stuff done. Like, I'm really grateful for Tower, because that's what we try to do with our crew. Like, anybody we recruit is like, yo, what are you good at? What do you want to do? There's got to be something you're looking out for, like to be a writer, director, to be an AD. And to those who are just like, well, you know what, I've never been exposed to anything, like, all right, let's get you as a grip, let's get you as just some hands-on and see what you like. Once you fall in love with whatever that is, I mean, we've had guys that fall in love with sound, and that's their thing now. Like, they're doing sound, you know. We have guys that fall in love with being gaffers, like, yo, I love working with lights, that's what I want to do. Lao's one of them, man. Like, as soon as Lao's on set, we know, like, he's the gaffer, he's the guy we got to get to light this shot, because he's the guy. And guys like Michael Head who have a lot of experience in that. But I'm really grateful for our crew, because that's what we try and do, is like, whatever your specialty is, whatever you really want to do, let's refine those skills so that's what you get working, that's what you get, you know.
Yeah, exactly.
And I think that's what it's all about. And I'm seeing a little more of that in El Paso now. Like, you can consistently, like, yo, this guy's a good AC. Let me get him on my crew. This guy's a really good AD. Guys like Jason, man. Jason, who we interviewed on this show prior. And he was on your set for the music video. Yeah. Guys like that, who like him and Dan Lamas, who are like really organized and really get on your crew's case to get things going and get to work. And the schedule is tight, and the schedule's on schedule. Those are the ADs that we're looking out for, that we really want to bring into our sets. So I'm really grateful for the companies that are starting to do that now, and I'm really grateful that we're trying to get that going. And I think it's important to mention that, like, if you're a filmmaker in El Paso, Las Cruces, Juarez, and you're kind of just, we'll see what kind of falls on my lap, like, just try to refine that skill, because that's what we're looking for. Like, that's what those guys are looking for. That's what Tower's looking for, is guys that take this seriously, that want to do this as a career, that love what they do, and are consistent in whatever it is that they're doing. Like, yeah, it's good to be a jack of all trades, but like Raul says, if you don't focus on that one area that you really love, number one, you're going to be miserable, because on any set, they're just going to throw you anywhere. Number two, you're not doing what you love. You're not enjoying yourself on set, you know. And lastly, that the refining of that one particular skill that could take you places, you're not working on that. So I think it's super important that we as El Paso, as a filmmaking community, we keep doing that, trying to refine those skills, those individual skills. So thank you for bringing that up, Raul, because I think it's I've been wanting to say that forever without like, yo, let's get this one skill refined, and if this is what you love to do, stick to it, so
and then I mean, not to discourage like the upcoming filmmakers, like when you're young, man, you really don't know, even when I went to film school, the first 3 months was pretty much take a class of everything. Like I took directing, editing, just to kind of figure out, I like this more than this, so that's it's kind of what I like to do with my with the guys that I bring on. Is like I just kind of let them play with the camera, go with the lights, whatever, and then once you kind of figure out like, you know what I really like, I thought I liked camera, but now I want to just stick to lighting. Cool, do that and focus on that, because if you can stay here forever and do you can make money decently even just kind of doing a little bit of everything. But if you really want to get on these big crews and then start making some money eventually, you know what I mean? Like you really have to focus on what you want to do. Like if you want to be a gaffer, boom. That way, these crews, like Carlos said, these crews can, whenever you need a crew, we need a gaffer, whatever, boom, we know this guy's there. We need an AC, this guy's good. And that's what you focus on, like that's what you do consistently. Like people hit me up sometimes like, you want to be an AC? And, I say no, because it's not because I don't know how to do it. I just don't have I don't do it consistently enough to be good enough for it. You know what I mean? Like I don't consider myself an AC, so I wouldn't be comfortable jumping on the feature film. Like they called me for that film that was here like not even a year ago in Las Cruces. And then they were like, you want to be the AC? I'm like, it's not that I don't want to, but
I think you sent
it to somebody who's.
So you sent. Was that the one that you sent Limon?
Yeah, I sent Limon on that one.
Limon's a good AC. Like Limon's a camera guy. Limon's the guy out there. Yeah. So and Limon got a really good gig off of that. So that's a big.
Yeah.
Man, that's a big deal. That for you to admit, like, yo, you could have made that money, man, on that feature film. You to be real and say, hey, you know what? I'm gonna get somebody else on this gig because this kid knows that field a little more, and this kid can do that more consistently. That's big, Raul. I think that's a big deal, man. For you to be honest and say, yo, you know what? That's not my thing. Let me get one of my friends out let me get him paid. That's a big deal. That's a big deal. So that's
because I get people like sometimes I post, I'm looking for an AC, and then someone just random, I AC. I'm like, cool. What jobs have you done AC? It's like, oh no, I did it once, or I just kind of, like practice it. It's like, nah, I need somebody that's good. You're gonna be doing the focus, bro. You know what I mean? You can't fuck it up. So, and I try to be honest, man, because I had one guy kind of get mad at me, or he thought I was trying to be like cocky. So I said no to an AC job. There was another feature that came from Juarez or from Mexico somewhere, and they shot it here. And I said no to that one too. But it was like, it's not because I'm trying to be cocky or I just don't want to do it. It's just like I don't feel comfortable. Yeah, I'm just being honest. Like I'm like, throw me as a grip or throw me as a gaffer, man, or something. I'd rather do that. I feel more comfortable doing that than pulling focus.
We always say that Raul's humble, but this is probably like the most humblest thing I've heard of Raul ever. And this isn't like coming out of like somebody else's mouth. This is like coming from his, and it's just crazy, man. Like
no big.
Yeah.
So moving forward, Raul, you told us that you want to do feature films, and how do you feel like? Do you feel like there's certain steps that need to be that we as a community need to take here in El Paso to either bring feature film jobs or to produce our own feature films? What are we missing? What do you think we got to get going to get that going? So that's where you're going to put your energy. That's where Tower, we've been trying to put our energy, especially this year, is we have 3-4 feature films in development right now, and we're trying to get these produced, and we're trying to get the funding for them. And what do we have to do as a community for filmmakers to get these feature films out here? We know we can do it. We have the talent. We have the crew. What are we missing? What do you think we got to get going to make that happen?
I mean, for sure is the money. The money's always the issue. But it's just making it happen, bro. You know what I mean? Like I've been sitting around waiting for somebody to bring me a feature film for so long. It's come to the point where it's like, you know what, bro? Let's just make it happen, bro. If we have a script, that's another big thing, is having a good script. Once you got that, it's like we have everything here, bro. We have the crew, we have the equipment, we have dope locations. We got it all, man. If we can somehow find, there it is, bro.
Start here, right?
That's it, bro. That's all you need. When I was in film school, they told you all you need is a good script. That's it. I mean, shoot it with fucking whatever camera you got, whatever lighting you got. I mean, just make it happen. It's just doing it.
Has a really good quote where he's like, like it doesn't matter what it is. Like if it doesn't matter what people are making if your shit's fucking dynamite. Like
yeah,
you can
exactly.
take it, like over the world. And, like I love that shit because it it really feels the blood, Like
I'm gonna have a validate this because prove me wrong or prove me right, whatever it is, Raul, because you've seen. I've told my crew, I've told my team at Tower, man, like, yo, this is what we got to get working on. Even now in quarantine, these are all the scripts that guys at Tower have turned into me, or either my scripts or scripts from the Tower guys. I have Juan's and Delao's in here as well that they've turned into me recently, and well, not into me, to Austin as the producer and the Tower execs and stuff. Tell me if I'm wrong here, Raul. This is what we have to perfect first, especially right now where the shooting is slow. This is what if we're indoors, how can we not work on a good script, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Like it's one of those things that like I've learned as a filmmaker. Like if you don't take your time on building a good script, man, nobody's gonna pay attention to you. They're gonna take one look at your work and say, nah, this guy didn't put his heart into it. And,
exactly.
And I think that's important. So I'm so glad to hear it from an established filmmaker that thinks that we really got to get good scripts out here. We've got to get the good writers to refine their scripts. There's tons of good writers in El Paso, man. There's no reason for it not to happen. So,
yeah, exactly. That's all it is, man. You just need the script. And then we have the crew, we have all the talent, we have everything here. So just do it, And like for me, like I even got to the point during the whole lockdown, I was like, man, I'm gonna just write my own script, bro. Like I'm tired of waiting, you know what I mean? And the only story I have is mine, the way I grew up, like I said, and in the gangs and all that shit, growing up in the violence, as a kid, and coming out of that, and then everything that I went through, like I'm like I just gotta put it on paper and just make it happen, So
I know, guys. I rest assured, like in meetings we've had, we talked about because Grace so gracefully was like, yo, if you guys need me for a set, man, I'm there. Like I don't even care, I want to help out. I want to get more into the narrative, kind of either, feature films.
Yep.
And that's been a big like, oh man, yo, we can always count on Raul. Like that's a big deal, man. Guys like I reached out to him the other day because he was telling me he's been writing a TV show and then he's writing a film as well. So that's big, man. Like Paco's a talented filmmaker. I was talking to Limon too. So there's guys that are writing and making stuff happen and have been making it. The shorts, but I agree with you 110%. Like we've been putting all of our energy on like having the short films still keep going in Tower and still keep that train chugging, mostly for the new filmmakers that have never directed anything. We want to bring those guys in and yo, you want to direct a film? All right, cool. Where's the script? How are we going to go about this? Go through the same train we did for all the 20 plus films that we've made. But now we're also focusing, half of the execs are focusing on the short films, half of the execs are focusing on the feature films. And I think, man, I think it's time. I agree 110% with you. It's time for El Paso to bring feature films to shoot here and that we can produce and that we can bring up. Some of the work that has been done, I'll throw myself in there. Like my first film was not the best thing in the world.
And that's cool, bro.
It taught me a lot. It taught me a lot as a director. It taught me a lot as a writer, and it taught me what not to do on my next feature film, right? And it taught me the positive things about it. So El Paso filmmakers out there, man, listen to the words that Raul heeds. It's time for feature films in El Paso. It's time. We've been waiting too long. It's time. So.
And yeah, man, I mean, and like you said, bro, like my first videos that I did were shit, bro. Like I don't show them, they're somewhere in YouTube, and I don't show them to anybody, bro. Like your first feature film, first short film, is not going to be the greatest. It's not going to win awards. You know what I mean? Like just get it out of the way, just do it. And it's cool that you guys did 20 of them, bro. That's crazy. Because I mean, it's just, and then you learn so much from each one,
Film school, bro. Legitimate.
Exactly.
Like you say, that hands-on aspect of it, you can't. Sometimes you don't get it in a film school. It's all book and theory. And the Tower 20 was our film school. It taught us what to do and what not to do, and how to manage a budget and how to bring on reliable crew and etc. So with a feature film that's not out, we're still not sure if that's going to be released. We'll see. We're on the same boat, man. Like I'm as a director, I'm kind of like, I've told Austin, because Austin and some of the other guys that have worked on the films, like, yo, like one of the actresses, she lives in Germany now, and she reached the other day, shout out to Maggie, she was like, hey, so what's up with the film? Are we gonna release it? And man, I haven't even thought about that film in 2 years. Like we've been focusing on getting the next thing out. But I think it's important to just like chug along, and like you said, it's one of Robert Rodriguez's philosophies. You have 10 bad films in you, get them all out.
Exactly.
What he says is, you got these 10 bad films and you get them all out so that you can get to the good stuff. So I like that. Juan or Delano, Austin, do you guys have anything else that you want to ask Mr. Raul before his phone dies?
I mean, I got one question for you, Raul, just based off a previous conversation we've had with you. A lot of your career's kind of just been based like music videos and stuff in that nature. What's making you want to make that switch to narrative stuff now?
I have done features, man. I actually did one that won a bunch of awards at the film festivals, man. I did one in Bolivia back in 2009, I think it was. I was in Bolivia for 3 months, and we did, it was a feature film. And then just that experience was dope, bro. Just kind of, that one was actually a challenge because if you watch the film, it's kind of, it's like the Zona Sur, the Southern District. You can find, it's on YouTube, actually. You can find the whole thing on YouTube. Zona Sur, yeah. That one was crazy, man. I was there as a gaffer. I wasn't there as a DP. But just kind of having to hide all my lights because the shots are always moving, bro. The shots are always moving on the wide lens. So they're always rotating somewhere. You'd never cut. Every scene is one shot. We had two lenses on set, and we pretty much just stayed on one lens the whole time, the whole movie. So the camera's always going somewhere. So all my lights had to be hidden, you know what I mean? Yeah. So that challenge to me, like I always like these type of challenges, you know? On a music video, I already know it. It's like throw a couple backlights, blah, 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 and then make it flashy.
Right. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and on creating a film, it's more challenging to me. You know, I mean, I like creating for it to look natural. You know, or it just depends whatever the look that we're going for, and that's why I kind of fell in love with doing film. I also did a couple other, like 2 or 3 other low budget ones in Hollywood. So just being on set, man, just creating every day, you know, stretching it to 10, 15 days, 20 days, and just being creative, you know.
What I love about Raul's lighting abilities is that he's obviously very trained gaffer and trained DP. He's still. I remember you told me a story that your homies in Hollywood all make fun of you because you still use your old Kinos as the new LEDs that. On, right, like man, like I'm gonna use my old school equipment because that's just what I love to use, and then you started, like, you go out to workshops and you go out to lighting workshops and they train you on this new stuff and you know how to do it. Like you told me about the BET cipher that you did, that was awesome, and you told me like, we were on the set in ATO and we lit the shot and we lit the set, but I missed my Kinos, man. I missed my old school light.
Yeah, bro, it's just, I don't know, something with working with LEDs, you don't get the same, especially when it comes to tungsten. It's not the same, you know. I mean, it looks a little bit more yellowish, and I've been working with tungsten lights for so long, and Kinos, it's just something that once you're used to something, you know, it's like it's hard to switch to something else. It was kind of like going from film to digital, you know, because when I went to film school, we mainly used film, and then I graduated in 06. And then like around 07, 08, the whole transition to HD, I was like, oh shit, so having to learn something new, you know what I mean? Right. So yeah, I mean,
what I love is that you still learn it. You're not like this old school, I'm not going to learn it. You still learn the new technology, you learn the digital, you learn the LED lighting, but you're still like, no, you know what, I'm going to use what I think is best for the visual, but what I'm used to and what I love, and I admire that, man. I think that's really cool that you still learn it. You have to learn it.
Of course.
Because you're going to have DPs telling you, like, yo, I don't want Kinos, I want my LEDs.
You can't even find Kinos in LA anymore, bro.
Raul's picked them all up and brought them back to El Paso. Too,
but yeah, man, like you said, I had to learn it, bro. Like when I was going out there, it's like, oh, well, we got sky panels and we got this and that. I'm like, all right, cool, fuck it. So I started going through the settings and just learning it, man. You know, you have to. And now I kind of... I'm kind of switching, man. I started buying LEDs now. I bought like the fake sky panel, so that's coming in soon. I bought this one right here. Let me bring it real quick.
Okay, here we go. He's gonna show us the new toy.
This will be the video exclusive to YouTube and Facebook.
Yeah.
I got this bad boy recently. I'm sure you've seen some of my videos. I got this bad boy.
Oh, okay.
So I got 4 of these
right there.
Hey, Delo, you got some drool coming out of your mouth.
Yeah, I mean, it happens, man.
Yeah, bro. So these were some of my first LEDs that I got. These are nanolights. I bought 4 of them.
Nice.
Yeah. So
always doing cool stuff in Axis Studios and everything in his studio, which is really cool. Raul, I'm wondering to see if Michael or Juan, you guys have any questions, because I know as a DP, Michael, I know you're like, this is an overload of info.
Nah, man, you and me got to have a private conversation, because I just want to get more into lighting. I want to get more into that because, you know, like, I mean, here at home, I think like all of us, we thought, well, I'm finally here. I have time to kind of refine my craft. I mean, I got a bunch of gear that's just like sitting there and it's not going to go anywhere. So, yeah, it's just been getting whatever lights I can and trying to like work on scenes and really think about, you know, how to refine your craft. And I think that's the best thing everybody can be doing right now. But yeah, no, you're kind of like the guy that I'm looking to right now to think like, oh, I want to learn how to do that. I want to learn how to do like half the stuff I did on the music video, man.
Yeah, and it's just practice, bro. Like I've done over 500 music videos, so it's just practice. And now it's my lighting setups are way simpler than before, man. When I started, I used to come show up to set and put these backlights.
Everything has light.
Lights over here. Yeah, fucking lights everywhere. Yeah. But then when you start doing that, you start getting shadows everywhere and shit, you know.
No,
so
it was cool. Just like a little side note, like when we were there for the Abe Mac video, and I forgot what you put up, but it was a backlight over the trees for the Abe Mac video to look like moonlight.
Yeah, the moonlight,
and it was super simplistic. But then when you see it in the video, like even though I guess naturally you wouldn't think moonlight looks as blue, like in the real world, but then there it just works so well. So you know, it's just something like simple and all that.
Yeah, exactly, man. So it's just experience, man, and that's why I want to get back into these workshops, bro. So that's another thing I want to start planning. And thank you for having me here, bro, because this helps me kind of get used to being in front of the camera, being in front of the phone, and just talking. And
Nice.
you know, what I mean, once I kind of get warmed up, then I get going. So that's what I want to do, man. Like right now, I can't do the workshops because of this whole COVID thing, but I want to do. The studio's there, man. All my equipment is just collecting dust, bro. So if you guys are down, bro, I'm gonna, you know, we can just go and play with lights and we'll just film it. You know what I mean?
Yeah, man,
film start creating YouTube videos.
We can definitely talk about this, you know, off the podcast and see what we can definitely do, man.
Yeah, we've been talking to Raul. I know Raul and I have been having conversations for months, man, on how we can collaborate on a workshop, when we can get some of the guys from Tower and some of the guys from the other companies to get involved and collaborate on some workshops to get new filmmakers and existing filmmakers that just want to learn the trade. So I'm excited for it, man. I know that we're going to collaborate on that, and that's going to be super exciting.
Dope. Yeah, man, we also want to promote for sure. Shout out to Leo Marketing and all the homies that rent cameras out here. We want to, you know, say for the filmmakers out there, we have everything from, you know, small DSLR cameras to red cameras, lights, HMIs, everything, you know, available for rent. So that's, you know, we want to push that too. So yeah, man, whatever you guys need, I told you guys, whatever you guys need, man. If you guys ever need some keynotes or whatever, I got you, bro.
On the record, I just want to say, like, Raul has been kind enough to, like, he knows that when filmmakers need stuff, he's always helping out. Obviously, like, we try to help him out as well, and either with crew or with equipment too. But as I knew Raul was getting new lights because he sold us his other lights.
Yeah, that's right.
The last few sets that we were able to shoot on, we used the lights that we bought from you, which was really cool.
Nice.
But man, like, Raul's not gonna sell you trash, but he's not gonna rent you trash. He's gonna show you stuff that they use in the industry, and he knows. Mm-hmm. He's in the industry, so rest assured that his equipment's top notch, and make sure to check them out for sure. Leo Marketing and Access Studios, and I think you also work with Monster, if I'm not mistaken, right? Is that something?
Yeah, Monster Link. But the ones that have equipment for rent is Double Scope, of course, Leo Marketing, and Access. They're out there.
Power is now renting stuff too, so shout out to everybody.
To Power.
That extra.
Yep. And then I mean, another thing really quick before we go, for these workshops that I want to do is, like, I want to start from very little, you know what I mean? Like, you don't need to know how to operate a Kino or this big lights. Like, I want to start with small LEDs, you know, because I see a lot of beginning filmmakers here just working, that's all they have, just like a small LED and stuff like that, you know? Like, I know
because a lot of us get, like, our information from, like you can literally learn how to set up a good light and make, like, a can of soda look cinematic with, like, on Instagram. Like, sometimes it'll just be like a TikTok showing you how to, like, set up lights and everything. And and it's interesting to see that, like, yeah, like how you're saying, it's way easier to become a filmmaker nowadays because you don't necessarily need, like, to pay money to learn. You can just do it for free. And I think that's kind of like the way of the future, is that education should just be free in general, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Like, yeah, right. So it's like filmmaking is going to be a part of that too, is, you know, democratizing all that stuff. But
yeah, and don't feel like, you know, I mean, don't feel discouraged if you don't have these expensive LEDs and that, you know, use what you got and just make it happen. You know what I mean? That's because when I came back, I went to Home Depot and bought a bunch of these lights from Home Depot. Yeah, I had to bring all my stuff was still in LA, and that's how I made it haon. You know,
like my likes to say, like, that's how we light the podcast when we're able to shoot in person. Is just like the lights he got from Home Depot, or, you know, from
PVC, and
you make it work.
That's how you make it work. You Make the dream work. All right, Mr. Delau, do you have the word of the day for us?
I do got a word of the day.
It better be good, man, because...
What the word of the day?
Okay, so for those who don't know, word of the day is something that we like to add on the podcast, just so we can all learn something. We can expand our library of words. You're a camera guy. You're a lighting guy. If not, I don't think you'll mess this one up. I'm pretty sure you'll know it, but at least you can define it for the rest of us. Do you know what iridescent lighting is?
Iridescent? No, bro. Sounds like fluorescent.
Yeah.
Like a perfume.
Right?
Close too, man. Iridescent lighting is a luminous color that, like, from different angles will show a different color. So it's whenever you're lighting something that at the front face of it, it might have really saturated, like blue or red, but then the shadows are completely different color. It's that kind of like two-tone, depending on the angle you're at.
Interesting. Okay.
So
All right.
it's basically two-tone lighting, but you just decided to give it a fancy name.
Yeah, no, it's a pretentious name. Yeah.
You're flexing, man. You flex too much. Like,
Right? That's dope.
Do that. Like, he knows what it looks like, but he just didn't know the word.
Yeah, exactly. I know how to make it happen. I just don't know.
Yeah, that's true.
what it's called.
Cool.
wait, what was the word? What was the word again?
Iridescent.
Iridescent, bro. That's how you flex on set. Like, nah, man, I want that iridescent light. Like,
Yeah.
Yeah. Fucking dancing to be like, yeah, you know?
Yeah, you know, like, okay.
Like, yeah?
No, it's good. I know it's good to know though.
Cool.
Yeah,
All right.
right.
Well, if that's it for Raul, we want to thank him for being on the show. Thank you so much, Raul. Thank you for your talent, man. Thank you for
having me.
for proving that you're from El Paso and you can make something of yourself in this community, in this industry. It's something we aspire. You're a hero to all of us, man. Like, it's something that we aspire to do is
Thank you, bro.
make a living off of this and do what we love. That's the point. That's it.
Yep.
Thank you for being
Thank
on.
you, bro.
And thank you for being a friend of Towers, man. We know we can always count on you, and you know you can always count on us, and that's a big deal, man. So thank you for that.
Is there anybody you'd like to shout out before we wrap
Or
things
any
up?
plugs?
Any plugs?
Any plugs? I already did, man.
Those kind of plugs, but just like plugs.
Do you want to show off that sign in the background? I'm kind of seeing part of it. I'm just seeing
I know,
Let me
it's
see.
dope.
I don't want to drop my phone again and shit. Let me see. Yeah, there you go. Ravisuals. No, man, I just want to say thank you guys, and like I said, bro, if you got those scripts, bro, let's do it. You know what I mean? I'm ready to work, so let's get going. Let's go going. I'm ready to shoot.
We have you at the top of our list, man. Like, we know what you're about, and we appreciate that. So we're working on it, man. Now, Austin's a producer. He's the producer for all the films, so he's working on getting us that money, man, so we can make it happen.
Cool. Dope, brother.
Bitcoin.
All right, cool. Well, Mr. Kwan, if you want to go ahead and sign us off, I think that's it.
Thank you, guys. Appreciate it.
Thank you. That about does it for these towering filmmakers. As always, keep writing your scripts, keep pushing through writer's block, and if you hadn't heard it from anybody else besides your mama, then you'll hear it from us. We believe in you and all the hard work that you're bringing to your moving pictures. Don't forget to look at your call sheet. Don't you dare say it, fix it, and post. That's the Baltimore of filmmaking phrases right there. And remember to send over your love, appreciation towards your cast, your crew, for all the hard work we know they're doing. Towering filmmakers, we'll see you guys on set.